Welcome to Chillin' with Ice with me, Lori Fetrick, or most of you know me as Ice from the American Gladiators. Thank you for joining me on this podcast where we're going to dive in and go behind the scenes on the #1 hit iconic show of the 90s. It's time to get up close and personal on what drove us to be gladiators, what challenges we faced, and how we overcame to reach all of our goals. I know in this first season, inquiring minds want to know, was there drama, fights, hookups? Are we all still friends? What did we do in our personal lives, and how are we staying in such good shape years later? Well, stay right here and let's get into Chillin' with Ice. Before we dive into our incredible episode today, I want to let you know that this is a self-funded podcast and I would love your support. For the cost of a cup of coffee a month, you can donate to my Patreon page, and that would make all the difference in the world. For the small donation, you will get back so much in rewards. Like you can watch all of my podcasts on video. I will have exclusive content like behind the scenes footage, a private Facebook group where you can interact with me directly and other VIP fans, a monthly Q&A, direct shout outs and follows from me to you on your social media, and so much more. Find me on Patreon at Chillin' with Ice or click the link in the show notes now. Okay, let's dive in. Welcome back to Chillin' with Ice. I am very excited today. I've got somebody in the studio. I mean, he's sitting right here. You can't miss this gentleman. I've worked with him for years, and I have tried to get him in here for the last couple months, but he's extremely busy. This is Red Williams, AKA Sabre, and we have some stories and we have some fun stuff to talk about, and we're gonna get 1 million views on this video.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So we're gonna start with a little bit of backstory and during and after. And you know what? To me, Red, this is like an hour of just permission to talk about gladiators, to have fun.
Well, I want to say to TV land and stream land out there, when you see me yelling and hollering, Lori and I love each other. We're real sisters and brothers, so don't worry about it. She beats me up and abuses me off camera, but I love it.
I do not.
That's absolutely true.
I might punch him in the chest.
My wife told me to tell you what's up.
I might punch you in the chest once in a while, but it was so like the big conga drums. I mean, that was the fun part about it,
Get
right?
down. I'll take that. I'll receive that.
Red, let's go with a little bit of backstory. And I mean, I know your backstory is really long, so which we could talk about for hours. But give us a little brief backstory of where you came from before Gladiators.
I was born in Omaha, Nebraska. We moved to California when I was 6 years old. We moved to South Central, down the street from Fremont High School, 79th Street. We moved to another neighborhood that became a blood neighborhood. When we left Omaha, my mom was leaving my dad. He came back to get us all back together again, but they ended up divorcing in 1973. And when they divorced, we had a party with a cake and everything. Yeah.
Wow.
So my mom's was my motivator. She was my pep up person. She was it. She died at the age of 46 years old, breast cancer. I was devastated. I continued to try to make her dreams come true and my dreams. Pro football was the dream, even though I was probably better in baseball. Got drafted by the Rams, came back to Los Angeles.
Can I ask one question real quick?
Yes.
What position did you play in football?
I was a running back. I was pretty fast. When I was a kid, before my mom's passed, like 1974, I won 3 trophies at the Jesse Owens track meet. You know, that was a big thing. I was 3rd in Southern California in the 60-yard dash, in the softball throw, and the 4x100 relay. So I was pretty fast.
What about baseball? What position?
Baseball, I played every position, but my biggest accomplishment came when I was playing catcher. I led the league in home runs, and I was the leader of the team.
Oh my God, here, high five, because I was a catcher as well.
All right, yes, ma'am.
We had arms.
Yes. Yes. Check this out. This is a story about my mom's real quick. I was always the best athlete in school, elementary school. And when I went to junior high school, you know, that's a bunch of different elementary schools at one junior high school. And I told my mother, I said, Moms, I don't think I'm going to be the best at this school. And she said, why not? I said, because at first it was just my school, Ambler Elementary School, but now it's going to be a bunch of different elementary schools. And she simplified it. She said, if you're the best in the 6th grade, how come you can't be the best in the 7th grade? I'm like, whoa.
I like that.
So she had me ready. I could have been the first black
she
president.
Pushed you.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She really did.
Nice.
Junior college, because after my mom's got cancer when I was in high school, I ditched school, you know what I mean?
Like we all did.
Hanging out with some of the wrong guys. And then I started gambling because I didn't have lunch money. And, you know, when you gamble, that puts you in a tougher circle, you know, and before you know it, I'm slap boxing for money. I'm doing rough house stuff now. And I only played 4 games of high school football my whole career because distractions.
Yeah.
But I had 26 scholarship offers after only 4 games. But I didn't have the grades, so I had to go to junior college. Went to Pasadena City College, set the national. I'll go back to that because we're going to talk about some stuff.
I'm surprised that we didn't see each other there because I went to Pasadena City College for one semester.
One semester.
Can you imagine? We could have passed each other in the corridor. We could have. Boop, boop.
We could have.
Yeah.
When were you there? I know you don't want to say the year because you know you look so much younger than I do. But I went to PCC and then Kansas University. I wanted to go to Nebraska, but they wanted me to redshirt, and I didn't want a redshirt. You know, my mom's was getting sicker, and I wanted to make it to the league before she passed away, and I didn't do it. She passed away before I made it to the league. And then football, Rams wanted to put me on injury reserve. My agents told me if I asked for a release, they could get me on a roster that season. I ended up not getting on a roster that season, but I signed with the Raiders the next year, tore my groin, missed the season, but that was cool because it was the strike season. And so that allowed me to get paid for 90% of the season without having to be a scab. And then the next year, San Diego Chargers, I'm first string running back. I'm going to be the superstar that I always knew I would be. And I broke 2 bones in my back, and that ended my career. So
How did you play Gladiators then with 2 broken bones in your back? I did not know that.
I healed. I healed. You know, it took a while, but I healed. 2 transverse processes. I healed, and at the time the Gladiators came about, oh my goodness, that was a Yah send. The creator of the heaven and earth sent a blessing for me because I was getting ready to go down a whole completely different path.
Where were you going?
I was plotting to rob an armored car with no weapons. I was going to do it with no weapons so nobody got killed, but yeah,
I think we've all thought about those
think about it.
before.
I had the schedule mapped out and everything, so it was going to be something else.
That's okay. So how did Gladiators find you, or how did you find Gladiators?
My wife watched the show, and you know my wife.
Yes.
She told me to tell you hi, and she loves you. And
Thank you.
She called me one day and said she heard on the radio they were having tryouts for Gladiators. She said, it's tomorrow.
And you're like, what's that?
I'm like, okay, I can do that. So I got in line, and the line was already wrapped around the building. It was wrapped around the building so far that I was actually by a phone booth on the street, and I called her and I said, the line is wrapped around the block. And she said, well, that's okay, you can come home. And it gave me a release, you know, so I could have come home and it took the pressure off of me. But I said, no, I'm gonna see what it is. And it was perfect for me. Look, the first event was a 40-yard dash. I'm a football player and I'm fast. Oh, that's no problem. Then we had to do fingertip push-ups. How many fingertip push-ups can you do in 60 seconds? I'm like, okay, I can do that. I'm gonna do 50 push-ups for you before I leave.
Okay.
So I'm doing the push-ups. My thumb pops out of place and I pop it back in place and I keep doing it. And the guy's looking at me like, this dude. So, and they're counting out the numbers. They had groups of 5. How many? 36, 38, 32, 33, 55. And they're like, 55. But I was only about 225 pounds. And it was a bunch of big monsters there.
Yeah.
From there, we had to do a rope climb. They said, climb up and touch the black. And when you touch the black, you know, make it to the ground, you got 15 seconds to do that.
Damn.
So the ceiling in the studio was black. So I thought we had to climb all the way up to the ceiling. And I said, once I touch the ceiling, can I free fall? They said, not the ceiling, the little tape on the rope. And it was only about maybe 15 feet.
Some people can't pull their body weight up.
I guess not, huh?
Yeah.
And I said, can I jump and touch it? So they laughing, but it's like Brian Gadinsky and them and producers. They're like, hey, this guy's got a sense of humor, you know, this kind of stuff. So I did the rope climb, and then we did a joust.
Oh.
It was me against a motorcycle biker kind of guy. He was 245 pounds. And the cameraman said, 245 against 225, this should be interesting. And I said, I'm gonna bust this dude up. I'm a beat him bad. And homeboy said, I don't know. I said, you don't believe? So I did him bad. Then we went to Powerball 1-on-1, and I sent him to the hospital. And after that, they said, go to the interview. I said, okay, I'll go to the interview. And they called me back about 2 weeks later. And that same day that they called me back to come to the Coliseum, I was in a $50,000 bench press tournament. We paid $100 to enter. It's in weight classes. And first prize, second prize, third prize in each division. Plus they had a pound for pound bonus prize of like $5,000 or $6,000. So this is a good hustle.
Yeah.
My wife would be happy if I can bring home $10,000 or $12,000.
Oh, yeah.
The dude never paid anybody. It was like it was like a ripoff,
Big
I
old
guess.
scam.
Yes, it was. So I went to the Coliseum after I was able to do one lift. I went to the Coliseum afterwards. Now, all my life, I wanted to play in the Coliseum in front of my moms and thousands of people. And this is an empty Coliseum. So it's like the creator said, I'll give you your dreams, but I'm going to give it to you my way, not your way. And I've adopted that. Like I pray to Yahweh. And I say, it's not my way, it's Yah's way. So I did it in an empty Coliseum. Mike O'Hearn was one of the guys that they called back, and another guy. It was 3 of us. And I got off.
This episode's actually sponsored by IceT-shirts.com, and you can get your OG Gladiator hat. You can get your OG t-shirt. You can get Chillin' with Ice hats, Chillin' with Ice t-shirts. I have all kinds of fun stuff on it. So go to IceT-shirts.com today. How'd you get your name? I don't even know how you got
When
your
I
name,
was on
Sabre.
tour, I was Panther on tour.
Okay.
And then when they said, we want you to do the TV show, but you cannot be Panther. It's too controversial.
Why?
Panther, black dude, Panther.
So
but look, with my
ridiculous.
little angel kisses, it would have went good.
Exactly.
Panther would have been a good name.
Yeah.
But they said, once you go on TV, you cannot have the name Panther. I said, I'll write a letter saying I chose that name. They was like, no, that's it. If you want to do the show, your name cannot be Panther. I said, okay. They said, what about Cobra? I said, nah, because it had a C, and I was from a blood neighborhood with a B. So every time you see Cobra, they would have X'd it out from my neighborhood. So it couldn't be Cobra. And I said, they said, what about Sabre? I said, all right. They said, you want S-A-B-E-R or S-A-B-R-E? I said, give me S-A-B-R-E because it's Sabre.
Yeah.
But I should have put E-R because, some of the cats can't read. And they was like, Sabre, Sabre. So that's how I got to be Sabre.
Oh my God. I hear you. Some of them can't pronounce names. They can't write it or anything like that.
That's right.
That's right. Well, how many times have you been out signing autographs and you go, okay, so what's your name? And they'll say something like, I don't know, Todd. And you just go to normal, spell the name Todd, and they get a little angry there. That's not the way you spell it. Well, wait a minute.
And if it's unusual, you should have told me firsthand. You should have told me first.
Yes.
Todd with a O-A. Okay, that's really Toad technically, but okay, Todd.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. So let me ask you this. When it comes down to the tour, you did that first before the Gladiator show.
Yes, I did.
What was your first impression of all the Gladiators when you came on tour, and then the very first time you came out of the doors and 5,000 people were there screaming your name?
Well, before I joined the tour, they sent me to a show you guys did at Pauley Pavilion, in Westwood, where the UCLA Bruins play. And so my wife and my kids, we went to that show, and I'm like, whoa, look at this. I'm going to be a part of this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it was sold out.
Yes.
And when I first came out for the first show, I felt relieved. I felt relieved. Like I said, my whole life was geared to play pro football. It was. And I was good in football. Never had the consistency in terms of staying healthy once I got in there. But I was going to play 8 to 10 years of pro football, rush for 2,000 yards a couple times, go to the Hall of Fame, become a sportscaster. You got that lifestyle mapped out. And Gladiators gave me a new lease on life. Hallelujah. It did. It gave me a new lease on life. Yeah. And so coming out to the fandom, and nobody knew who I was. I was a grunt.
Yeah.
I was a grunt gladiator that did all the hard work. I used to have to run into the locker room at halftime and put my arms in buckets of ice because I had to do all this hard work. I literally fought every night, 6 nights a week.
Yeah.
I gave the Geminis and the Nitros a break. They didn't have to do power balls and jousts every night.
That's exactly why they brought you on. If you think about it, they said that even. They said, we're getting beat up. We need more gladiators. Help us with some relief.
And it was hard, but it was like, I can't say that, but it was rough. It was a rough way to take care of my family.
But did your body ever start coming accustomed to it? I mean, you know how like if you do something over and over and over again, you kind of like all of a sudden your body adjusts?
I think
after a while?
I think that they gave me a 2-week trial. They told me they would keep me on tour. Do you remember Phil Poteet?
Yes.
Atlas?
Yes, yes.
So it was between Phil and I, because they said they were going to keep one of us. And they're going to give me a 2-week trial.
Okay.
And after the 2 weeks, they would tell me whether or not they were going to keep me. So it was rough. I was excited every night. Let me tell you this little story. And this is a true story.
Okay.
You guys already had something going on. You had an apparatus and you had a way of doing things, and I had to fit in with that.
Right.
If I bet on a gladiator, and they did bets backstage, if I bet on you, Lori, and you lost, I have to pay 5-1. The person that bet on the contender wins 5-1. So if I bet $100 and you lose, I have to pay $500 to the person that picked the gladiator. That was the deal.
This was all going on backstage?
Yeah.
It wasn't even, the girls weren't even involved in this.
This is what we were.
Okay.
So I bet on a contender. The contender beats the gladiator. The gladiator guy was supposed to pay me $500 or pay me 5-1.
Right.
If it was $20, it was $100, whatever it was.
Right.
Now, you guys were making a lot of money on tour.
We were making $5,000 a week.
Yeah, but they said that some of you were making $10,000 a week.
That must have been Nitro and Gemini.
Okay, you're making $10,000 a week.
Right.
So I bet this money with Nitro, and he gives me straight up the money, 100 for 100. I said, nah, man, you owe me 5-1. He said, you're a newbie. You don't know nothing about that. I said, hey, man, you better give me my money. I was ready to take his head off for the money. And it wasn't over bullying. It was, I knew what the rule was.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have bet you no $100 straight up and giving you the gladiator and I take the contender. What's the win in that?
Yeah.
So Gemini steps in and say, hey, man, stop, Red. I said, hey, man, he owes me money.
Yeah.
He said, what you gonna do, beat the guy up? I said, absolutely, I'm gonna beat him up. And he said, no, man, this is a different life now.
Yeah.
You can't do that no more. So from that moment on, I respected Gemini, but I did not respect Nitro anymore after that.
I get you.
No more. And he made more money than everybody.
Yep.
And you're going to take advantage of me like that? I see you. I see you.
So now that sparks I'm just going to go there, and that sparks why you chose not to do Netflix.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And then my girl,
Because
Lori Ice, my girl, she calls me and she was already signed up for Netflix. She didn't call me before to say, Red, this is what I'm thinking about doing. She called me afterwards after she had signed, and I felt hurt. I felt really hurt, like we weren't special anymore.
No, we were.
And me and you traveled all the time together.
I know.
We did everything together. Me and Lori, me and Ice did everything together.
Yeah.
Everything together. When I say everything together, we did personal appearances around the world.
Yeah.
And Lori and I would be together because, according to Bender Goldman Helper, we were the most popular
oh my God, I forgot
male
that name.
and female gladiator, correct?
I forgot that name.
Isn't that what they said? They introduced us as the most popular male and female. So we did a lot of work together.
England was fun.
Yeah, England was fun.
England was fun.
England was so fun that I would go to England every year, and I would literally I had a flat there. I had a flat in Walford.
A flat.
I had a flat
when
in
you said flat, I was like, what car were you driving? What do you mean a flat?
Yeah, I remember one time we were backstage, and one of the British gladiators said, whew, I'm naked and need a fag. I said, whoa, what did you say? You can't say that. What's wrong with you? That means you ain't got no clothes on and you need a homosexual. Yeah. She said, no, naked is tired and fag is a cigarette. So she was saying, I'm tired and need a cigarette. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought I was going to have to defend some people in here. You know what I mean? Watch your mouth.
Remember how we walked in their locker room and it was like walking into a bar? They were all smoking backstage.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That was so funny. What a culture shock that was.
I remember one thing. What? And when we walked into a restaurant, and I can't say this, but you can. We walked into a restaurant. Another gentleman opened the door for you and said, here you go, my
My nigga?
Yes. And you looked at me and you jumped back and you were like, what did you just call me? And I was like, oh my God.
Yes, sir.
He's going to take his head off.
Yes, ma'am.
You know? And he was like, no, dude, that was just a term of endearment, kind of like, and you were just like, well, that's not the way it works in the United States.
Yeah, you can't call me that. And I'm gonna tell you something. In September '91, we touched on that in the Gladiators. My nephew got killed by the West Covina SWAT team. He got murdered, shot in his bed 29 times in the back, and nobody went to jail for it. From that moment, I started drinking when I got the call at 3 o'clock that morning. And I drank the whole day. You know, I went with the family, but I'm just drinking the whole day. Never got a buzz. But the next morning, I had the worst hangover ever. Oh, my goodness. And I said, that's it. I'm done. I'm not drinking anymore. I haven't had a drink since 1991. That's 32 years now. And I didn't have a problem, but I drank. You know, we all get together and we drink and beers on tour. I never drank. I quit drinking. But I had a conscious thought right there. I said, from now on, I'm going to live completely black. That means acknowledging my blackness at all times. So when people see me, I want them to say, look at that strong black dude right there. And I wasn't going to drink anymore because I didn't want the police to say he was drunk and out of control and we had to shoot him.
Oh, interesting.
So when the guy said that, it was like, oh man, that's a test.
Yeah.
Am I so big time now that I'm not going to be who I am? Or am I going to stay who I am? And I'm going to stay who I am. And that's what it was. And so I had just stopped answering to that word.
Yeah. That was that.
I get people from my past right now. They ain't seen me wrong. My nigga, I seen you. How you doing, my nigga? And I'm like, my man, I ain't that no more. Oh, nigga, you done changed. Hey, my man, be cool. I'm just not that no more. Hallelujah. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. I was given the title Shaliach, which is one who was sent, which is kind of like apostle or disciple. And then I graduated and became Rabbiya. That was the name that they gave me. Rabbi Yah. Rabbi, teacher of Yahweh. So that's what I am now. I teach
that
scripture
is so
study
cool.
full time. Yeah. So when I went on tour, they gave me a 2-week trial. I tripped on this. Now remember, I'm going through this spiritual metamorphosis. So all kind of stuff going through me. My relative got killed, and I was with him just before he passed away. He had actually changed, and I saw the change in him, but he got killed anyway. I went on tour for 2 weeks. They let me come home for 3 days.
Okay.
Do you know that the 3 days I came home, the riots broke out?
I remember those.
Yeah, but that was spectacular. It was wonderful. It was, you know, on TV, it was like something horrible, but it was something else. It was a spiritual connection of a bunch of people who didn't have a voice. And we were able to get some type of camaraderie going, even though it didn't last.
Right.
We had something going, Crips and Bloods together. And that was a scary proposition for the powers that be, because they never want us to unite and be positive ever.
Even to this day.
That's right.
They don't want anybody to unite. They pit us against each other and split us apart.
Absolutely.
And it's
even with
so
the Republicans and Democrats, right? That's
100%.
divide and conquer also.
100%. And believe it or not, it's interesting, and we won't go there too far, but I watched the video one time, and this one woman explained the whole thing, and it was just simply amazing to me. And who knows, I could get canceled for this. I don't really care. But I was told there's 2 companies in the world that run the world, BlackRock and Vanguard and BlackRock. Well, funny enough, BlackRock and Vanguard own everything. They own Pepsi, they own Coke, they own Apple, they own Android, they own the Republicans, they own the Democrats. So how do they make money? They pit us against each other.
And they give a resemblance of freedom, right? So humans, were born with volition, which is the will and the desire to choose. That's what makes us different than animals. We have a desire to choose, and we have to have a choice. And if everything was done with some type of modicum of fairness, I'm cool with it, as long as it can be fair. But when you get certain groups of people picking on other groups of people constantly, I don't like that. So.
No, it doesn't work. So let me ask you this. What ended up on the cutting room floor on your documentary that you wish they would have kept?
That I said that I never, ever, ever did steroids.
Okay.
You know, when they did steroids, let me go on the record. I'm going on record with you guys, with you first.
Yeah.
So this is worth 1 million views. When I was in the 10th grade, I bench pressed 300 pounds. When I left in the 12th grade, I set the Marine League bench press record at 400 pounds. When I went to junior college, I set the national junior college bench press record. I weighed 195 pounds and I bench pressed 465 pounds. When I was at Kansas University, I did 477 pounds.
You were just naturally strong.
So what I'm saying is, yes. You know, I saw a Hercules movie when I was young, Hercules versus Samson, and I wanted to be Hercules. I didn't care about being big. I just wanted to be strong.
Yeah.
I wanted to be strong, and I wanted to make my mom proud. That was it. You know, my dad was, what can I say? If I was going to be honest, that he might hear it and I don't want to hurt his feelings, but I got to be honest. My mother bought me all the cleats. She bought me all of the cleats. She paid for me to play football, baseball, basketball, track, karate. You understand? She was at every practice, every game. So I could not do things that would make her unhappy or unproud. So I didn't do roids because that was cheating for me, no disrespect. And I couldn't brag if you turned your head and I moved a checker on the board and I won the game, I couldn't talk head because I cheated. So for me, I always wanted to be natural. I didn't even take vitamins regularly. You know, I did when I had them, but if I ran out, I ran out. But everything that I ever did was natural. And that's the truth. Even now, I'm going to take off my shirt before it's all said and done. It's not chiseled like it used to be, but I'm 60 years old and I can still bench press 400 pounds.
See, that's...
We should have put some weights in here today. So I did not like that they put out the steroid part, because there was a producer that was there when you were there that I wasn't, that said he went in the locker room and saw syringes laying around.
And you heard me. I mean, it was like, first of all, we confronted him and he goes, well, that's what I remember. Well, no.
I don't believe that ever happened in any athletic locker room.
No, and that's what I said. First of all, you don't, if you don't bring your steroids to work, you know what I mean? Man. You do them in your own privacy, your own home. And who's to say that possibly the needles, if he found anything, weren't diabetic needles? Was there somebody on the team that was diabetic?
I don't believe it ever happened. Ain't no man walked in no locker room and saw syringes everywhere. And the reason when I was the Gladiator and they said we were going to do drug testing, remember now, River Phoenix had died. Yeah. And Chris Farley had died. And they said, okay, Hollywood is getting bad. So they tested us for heroin, steroids, and cocaine.
Yeah.
And only thing I ever did was smoke weed. So I literally hit the joint outside and then came in and peed in the cup and then went back to my herb. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I ever did.
Oh, man. I wish, and I'll say this on air because I have no problem with it. I actually smoke now, but at nighttime.
All right.
To go to bed and to chill and relax. I wish that I had smoked back in the day with you.
All right.
I would have probably just sat there and laughed my butt off the entire time, though. But I think back on those times and go, oh my God, we would have had a blast together.
Absolutely. Now, because, you know, a lot of the gladiators thought I was a nerd because, you know, what kind of gangster nerd is this? He don't drink. You know, but I did blaze herb, you know, so I would be by myself and blaze herb because I didn't know too much about anything. You feel me? I didn't know.
Nobody else did.
I could have blazed on the bus, though.
You could have.
I could have blazed on the bus, but I didn't know. And Viper took me under his wing, and he would come in the back with me, and I was having problems sleeping, you know, because, you know, being so filled with adrenaline, and you come into, you can't sleep. So he gave me something called melatonin, and I put it under my tongue. And by the time it dissolved, I would be asleep. And I dreamed about my mother. And he had a cassette tape, Enigma, 1992 AD. Oh man, that was mind blowing. That was mind blowing.
So that was my go-to sex tape, by the way.
All right,
whenever the okay, so this is like, you know, I was gonna woo him in and everything. I'd turn on that tape.
That is so funny. Hey, no, that works.
It did.
Hey, Rhonda, we need to download Enigma.
Oh, yeah.
So me and my wife still married.
That's amazing.
It'll be 40 years this year.
Wow.
Now check this out. Let me tell you the story real quick.
How many kids you got?
I have 4 kids.
How many grandkids?
6 grandkids, but my oldest son and his wife, they're expecting their 5th child, so that'd be 7. Let me tell you the story real quick. The closest steroids ever came to me, I was at St. Pedro High School, and I was working out with maybe 350, 365. And this man said, you could be at 500 pounds in 30 days. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, I can get you some steroids and 30-day supply, you'll be at 500 pounds. I said, okay, get him. He said, okay, I need $30. I'm like, $30? Man, I ain't got no $30. $30, I can get gas and go to the movies with my wife, my girlfriend. So nah, I'm cool on that. So
that was the closest
that
right
was
there.
That was it. But I've never seen a steroid. I've held a kilo of cocaine. I've seen Sherm. I've seen angel dust.
Never seen any of those.
When I was in the 9th grade going to the 10th grade.
I've seen many pounds of weed.
Yeah, weed. I've been around weed for years. But look, I was in the 9th grade going to the 10th grade, and I was with some older kids, and they had an angel dust joint, and they would pass an angel dust joint. And I had never done anything, cigarettes, weed, nothing. I was, believe it or not, America, I was a goody two-shoes nerd with a very high aptitude. You know, I had tested off the chart, genius level almost. Well, genius level, over 100. And the guy hands me the angel dust joint. And so I said to myself, I can pinch it real hard, and maybe I could fake like I'm gonna hit the angel dust joint just to fit in or whatever.
Yeah.
And when he gave me the angel dust joint, my next door neighbor's name is Melvin Clark. And I pray for him every night. He's passed away now, but I say a prayer for him now. And he got in my face and he said, you better put that down. If I ever see you with that again, I'll beat your MF.
Good.
Oh man. And so he saved me.
Yeah.
He saved me.
Yeah.
I could have hit that angel dust and never been the same again.
No, you would not have.
And never been the same again.
Nope.
So he saved me. So I got close to angel dust. My uncle woke me up one night. He came from Illinois and he woke me up. He was coming to stay with his sister, my mother, for a little while. And he woke me up in the middle of the night. He said, nephew. I said, what's up? What's up, uncle? He said, I'm rich. And he had a jar of Sherm. You know, you dip the tip of it. Yeah. He said, I'm rich. When I was in junior high school, one of the neighbors down the street, older guy, he came and he put some cocaine on the dresser. And he said, you want to do this? I'm like, man, this is like in the movies, right? I'm like, nah, I'm cool, man. You know, I was a pure athlete. I wanted to be the best.
That is so amazing.
So I was exposed
to
to other things. I was never exposed to roids or any of the other stuff. I was exposed to stuff that take you away and you don't come back.
No. What was your favorite part, whether it be the tour or the television show or the international show?
That's a hard choice. The international I really loved. I wish my family could have been there, but I really liked being an international star.
Did you do the pole axe?
No, I did not. I didn't even practice it. I didn't even practice it.
I didn't
You know how we
either.
go and we practice things? I didn't even practice it.
What about that pendulum thing?
Didn't practice
Didn't
it.
do it?
Didn't practice it. But me and you had a little pull. We can say no to certain things after a while. You know, we could say no. Hey, let me tell you this story. I was with John Fashioneau. You remember John Fashioneau? He was the presenter on the International Gladiators. And he took me out with him and his wife to this club. And it's a big club where you got, like you see in the movies, where it's roped off and the regular people are in the line, but the celebrities go through the red carpet and he goes through and, hey, Fash, hey, hi. Everybody's saying hi to him. We sit at this table in the VIP section and I'm sitting down because, you know, I'm like, whoa, this is something here.
Yeah.
And my wife and kids and I, like I would tell you, girl, if you leave your glass, don't come back and drink that glass.
Absolutely
you know what I mean?
not.
So I'm sitting here waiting to drink my drink, which is the Shirley Temple.
Okay.
I like Shirley Temples. And John Fashioneau comes to the table with a female and his wife is at the table. And he says, honey, this is Bridget. I want to make friends with her. And she said, okay, how you doing, Bridget? I'm like, that's the hardest thing I ever seen in my life. I go home and tell my wife that, honey, this is Bridget. She'd be like, ants.
Right?
Yeah, so that was hard.
Oh, that's funny,
I think the Gladiators overseas was the funnest for me because it was overseas and it was big time.
Yes.
But I did like the way I got respect in America because I could go to any neighborhood, Blood, Crip, it didn't matter. I was on a different, Father Yahweh lifted me to a different level.
Yeah.
But I did like the international. That was something else. And one night I'm walking the streets because, you know, we got per diem and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm walking around with a couple 1,000 pounds in my hand. You know, this might have been for the movie. I don't know, but because I went to England so much.
Right.
But it's the middle of the night, maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm counting 2,000 pounds, which is like 3,000 American dollars.
Right.
in the middle of the night walking, minding my own business, and I was not afraid because they didn't have guns.
Right.
So if you don't have a gun, you're not robbing me. You know,
Right.
what, you gonna pull a knife on me? Man, I'll make you eat that knife. Get out of here. So this police officer says, show me some identification, but he didn't have a gun. So I just kept walking. I said, show me some of your identification. And I just kept walking. And he blew a whistle.
Yeah.
And when he blew the whistle, 30 seconds or so after that, police rode up with a car and they had guns, real guns, like assault rifles.
Right.
What's the problem? I asked this chap for some identification. He didn't want to show them to me. He said, why didn't you want to show him his identification? I said, I'm a grown man. What are you telling him to show me his identification? I'm not bothering nobody. He has a lot of quid, a lot of money.
Yeah.
So he said, where you get all that money from? I said, hey, man, what kind of questions you asking me? You tell me you want me to pull over and show him my identification. Now you ask me where I got my money from? Leave me alone. But they noticed my accent.
Yeah.
And they said, you're not from here.
What was your
You
first,
from America?
What was your first clue?
I said, yeah. And then he said, where you from? I said, United States. And he said, Sabre? I said,
No.
yes, I am. Yes, that's the true story. He said, Sabre? Yes. Now, I'm going to tell you one more story. So this is years later.
Okay.
I'm traveling with the comedian, D.L. Hughley. We going to see the troops in Germany and all of that stuff. So now we're in London, coming through the airport. We're still in customs, Lori. We're still in customs. Somebody runs up to me, excuse me, are you Sabre? I said, yes, I am. You mind if I have an autograph with you? Now, DL and I have been having these conversations back and forth. I'm more famous than you. No, you're not, man. You're famous in America. I'm famous all around the world.
Yeah.
You know, so he runs up, Sabre, can I get your autograph? Yes, you can. So then the guy goes up to DL Hughley and he says, excuse me, are you Wesley Snipes?
Oh!
Hey, that's a true story. I'm still laughing about it right now.
Roll it on the floor.
Are you Wesley Snipes? And DL's a comedian. He's like, man, get the beep, 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 beep.
Hey,
ain't no beep, beep.
Did you do the Orlando show at all?
Yes, I did. But look, I did it every other month.
Yeah.
And Peter had to pay me now $10,000 for the months that I was there. And when he gave me the like a couple grand to come to the premiere just to show up.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see what it was about. And then after he gave me the money, Peter said, okay, now that's part of your first week's salary. I said, nah, man.
Yeah.
That was just for me to show up.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be mean, but nah.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. And now, you know, you guys say that we didn't make money. Maybe you saying we didn't make what we should have made.
Shouldn't make.
But we made money.
We made money, but we didn't make what we should have made. What everybody means by that today is we shouldn't be working today. After everything and all the blood, sweat, body aches, body breaks, everything, putting our bodies on the line. And for so many years, we should have not, like, okay, here's a prime example. When we went to Orlando and then they shut the doors and I walked up and there was chains on the door, no phone call, no email. Hey, thanks for your service, nothing. I had enough money in my bank account to pay probably 3 months of my mortgage, and that was it. So what we're talking about when we said we didn't make any money is we should have made enough money to where we could have, put some serious savings away for at least 5 years, you know what I mean? But we shouldn't have had to go get, like, let's say a 9-to-5 job or really super scramble for jobs in the acting industry, like quickly, like now, you know, kind of situation.
I was blessed. After Gladiators ended, me, you, and Zap, we got our uniforms retired in Planet Hollywood.
Yes.
That was a beautiful thing. And now that they closed, I would like to get my uniform back.
I wonder where they went.
I don't know, but
Remember
I'd like to
they
get
said
mine
they were
back.
going to like rotate them?
from different ones. And when I was in Bangkok, when I went there, it was nothing like America. It was like, I'm leaving, I'm gonna go home.
Yeah.
So, but after that, I go with a guy, Adam Jordan. He said, you need to meet some people. I said, okay, let's go meet some people. So we go to this studio place in Santa Monica. And we take some headshots, some of my pictures there. Now, this is a trip. Now, you're talking about 5 degrees of separation. He takes me to Santa Monica to meet some people. The producer's name was Ann D'Amato. He takes me to see Ann. And when we get back to see Ann, Ann said, did you bring any pictures? I said, yeah, I gave them to your assistant. And she hits the phone. She says, Susan, can you bring the pictures that Red sent to me? And Susan hits back and said, oh, I thought they went to casting, so I sent them to casting. I'll resend them. Now, the Susan is Susan Levine, who is big time now, Robert Downey Jr.'s wife, but she's a big time producer. Yeah. So that's Susan Levine. And she took my pictures to Fern Champion of Champion Casting back in the back. So when she goes to get the pictures, Susan comes back and she says, they want to meet you. I'm like, okay, cool. So Ann says, go on back there. We'll be here when you get back. So I go there and I meet them and they say, can you fight? Can I fight? Ooh, psh, psh, psh. You know, okay. So read these sides. It was like maybe 10 pages of sides. Let me know when you're ready. About 20 minutes later, I said, I'm ready. No, take your time, because this is something we really want to see. I said, I'm ready. I said, okay. So I read the sides, and they were impressed. And they said, we want you to come back and meet the director. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. So I go back downstairs with the producers and with Ann D'Amato, and we're laughing and talking, and the director comes in. He says, we got an idea that for the last half of the movie, your character goes shirtless. So we'd like to see your body. I'm like, oh man, you know, I'm walking around. I'm not prepared for anything, but you give me a couple weeks and I'll get it right. Yeah. So I took my shirt off. They liked it. They said, can you fight? Yeah. So I get in front of the camera and I do a couple katas and explain to them what I'm doing, what my thinking is. And then the director said, oh, he's sitting close to me, Lori, like this close.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm sorry, your freckles, they're amazing. And I said, that's cool, man, as long as you don't want to sleep with me. And he starts laughing. So can you come back at 4 o'clock? I'm like, yeah. So I come back at 4 o'clock to meet the executive producer, read the sides, take my shirt off, fight on camera for him, explain what I'm doing and thinking. And that day, they said, we want you to be Jax in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the next amazing. Mortal Kombat.
That is so cool.
I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
And look, the first thing they offered me $100,000. And I shouldn't be saying that out there, but
it's okay.
It's 30 years later.
Yeah.
They offered me $100,000. So I'm like, if the first offer is $100,000, I'm gonna clean up on this one right here, right? They never budged off of that.
Oh yeah.
They said it was my first movie, so that's it. That they're paying me more than any other first-time actor. So
do you think the guys had more opportunities than the females did after the Gladiators were over? I mean, you guys got to go into the fight scenes, more action style hero.
No, you know what I think.
Women out there.
I think, Lori, and I told you this back then when we were doing stuff together. I really think that you could have created a vehicle for yourself if you could have came with something that would have caught their eye. Whatever it was, I know they're choosers. I couldn't
even get in the door.
Oh, is that right?
I think.
Well, you know what I used to do also, though? I used to just show up at Samuel Goldwyn's door and just show up. And I called him Sam, and Sam in, and they'd be like, Red, I work. I said, I know, man, but I'm in the area. So he would be working, and I'd be sitting in his chair looking at stuff and playing with his TV. So, and I used to say, Sam, put me in a movie, man. If you put me in a movie, if you invest $5 million, Sam, in me, in this movie, you'll make your $5 million back, I guarantee you, but you'll have a star that will be loyal to you forever. And he was like, Red, I got you on TV in 50 countries. What more can I do? I said, you can put me in a movie. If you do that. But what was happening that I didn't know, Samuel Goldwyn was being bought out by MGM. Yeah. So they really had put all of their business on hold. So, but Sam is gone, and I wish I could have went to his memorial, but I used to literally bug him.
Amazon bought them now.
Oh, see, Amazon is buying up the world.
Amazon's buying the world. But at the time, it's like, the females were too muscular. Think about the females in Mortal Kombat. They were all just average-looking girls. That's it. Nothing spectacular. When's the last time that you saw a muscular female just be an action star? I mean, Angelina Jolie's, her arms like this big. You know, it's like they're not realistic. The one that I do like is Jennifer Gardner. As far as when it comes to action, even though she's small, she has that side about her. And I think that one side, she kind of has that little badass side, but yet she's nice. You know? But at the time, they just weren't, there was nothing out there for women, really,
I tried to fight in the UFC.
You did?
Yeah, we drafted a letter to the UFC, and I could have won the UFC.
Yeah.
You know, especially once
What about MMA?
once I got, that's what I'm talking about.
Is it the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And once I learned the jujitsu part of it, you know, I was strong. I could run all day. I could take a punch. Adam Jordan actually drafted the letter to the UFC, and they wrote back saying that they've been getting some inquiries from other athletes and that they were going to probably do an athletic type of show. But I wanted to be in the regular general.
You think you're
UFC.
too old now to do it?
Yeah, I'm too old. I'll fight Nitro. Put that out there. Nitro, let's fight on pay-per-view. Me and you, we can fight Nitro. Look, I won't even fight you. I'll just spar with you. You know, I'll go open hand and you could use your fists. You know, you could donate to your charity and I could donate to mine. Hallelujah.
He's playing pickleball now. I don't know if he's fighting. So here's what the talks are. And I hope and pray that you are involved in this. But if I had it my way, every single person was, and I don't know where it's going to go or how it's going to happen, but they're talking of trying to do a reunion show. All of us together
and what will
in
we
one
do?
room.
To talk?
Yeah, it's kind of like a question and answer, and the energy. Wait, remember the energy that we used to have at photo shoots and stuff like that when we'd all get together? How much fun we had, and we'd be laughing and joking, and I mean, everything across the board. So a reunion show, I mean, I have a vision in my head, you know, of how it would go.
Everything that Dan gets, Nitro, if he's a producer, I have to be a producer. He will never get anything over me in nothing that I do. So you put that into whatever pipe y'all be smoking when you get ready to do these reunion shows. If Dan is an executive producer, I have to be an executive producer.
Okay.
I'm favored nations and one nickel or one dime over him every time because of him.
Because of what he did to you in
Because
the
of
respect.
him.
Yeah.
Because of him.
Okay.
Do you know that when the documentary parts came, he sent me $100 saying sorry about what I did back in 1992? Yeah.
You're like, no, where's the 500?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I don't care if he sent me 5,000.
Yeah.
It was not even this. That to me, even that was done just so he could get his way. Hallelujah. So, and I love you, Lori. You know, oh man, I keep pulling up this phone. I don't want you thinking I'm rude.
Oh no, I'm not.
I pulled something up, Lori, and this is from ratinggraph.com. Ratinggraph.com.
Ratinggraph.
Yes, yeah, ratinggraph.
Okay.
Ratinggraph.com.
Okay.
And these are the seasons of the American Gladiators. What season was the highest rated season in the history of the American Gladiators?
Well, it's season 4.
Season 4.
7.5.
And that's when you came back, and that's when you and I were there. And from that moment on, we started doing personal appearances together. So to put some type of thing saying that the show went down after certain people left, that's not the truth. The highest rated show in the history of the American Gladiators was season 4.
What year did I leave?
You left in season 3, my first year, and you came back in season 4.
Right.
And me and you went on personal appearance after personal appearance after personal appearance after that.
Season 4, 7.5, and then it started dropping after that, and it went to 6.7.
But even then, it was still good. Look at that.
The ratings were not bad.
No, they weren't.
See, that's why I don't understand they quit the show. Nobody understands why they quit the show.
But in hindsight, when you see that MGM and Samuel Goldwyn were going back and forth, they suspended all of Samuel Goldwyn's productions, from what I understand. And that's what happened. Let me ask you, can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
I know it's your show.
all day long.
So you guys were mad at Johnny Ferraro like he was the reason we didn't get paid, and it wasn't.
No.
Do you hold up before that? But did you do agree that he's not the reason we didn't get paid?
Oh no, he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, okay, right. He didn't have anything to
Johnny
do with us not
had
getting paid.
absolutely nothing to do with merchandising, what we got paid. Johnny at that point in time was just the head man kind of name. He owned American Gladiator name.
Right.
No, we know that. Totally know that.
All right.
The reason I had a beef with Johnny is because he told me that he didn't want my girlfriends on set. It wasn't his brand. He thought it gave the wrong image. Let's put it that way. You know, he wanted the All-American Hot Apple Pie show. And me being gay on the show was not the image he wanted. He pulled me aside on tour and told me that.
You just gave me goosebumps because, you know, you say gay on the show like that, and you were just Lori.
I was just Lori.
Yeah, you weren't.
I know.
You weren't.
I didn't
you know,
care.
It makes
you
me
know
sad
that.
now, you know, that you were going through something, and I hope and pray that I helped you feel normal. If that's okay thing to say.
100%.
You understand what I'm saying? 'Cause
you guys
we
were my
used to
family.
double date. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We used to have
You
fun.
guys didn't care.
Right.
That's what I love.
It was just
production cared, and that's what I didn't like. Production and,
well, look,
and the
we
head,
could have acted like we
head.
was having an affair to make it cool.
I know.
You know, we could have acted like, because we got along good, didn't we?
We did
get along
fun.
good.
So it wasn't that with Johnny. He told me that, and I also know that like there was certain situations to where it's like, yes, throughout after Gladiators, anything that I remotely tried to do, everybody wanted to know where you were from. You know, can you say that you're from the American Gladiators? I was always like, I can't wear my uniform. Cannot. That's a no-no.
You know what I learned, loophole though? This is a loophole.
Okay.
If you would have communicated to me, hi, I'm Lynn Red Williams, Sabre from the American Gladiators. I can say that.
Yes.
I can say I was Sabre from American Gladiators.
Or you can say former American Gladiator.
I played Sabre on American Gladiators. You know, but he used to give Dan like favor, Nitro. He had the Gladiator run.
Pay him.
Yeah.
Dan had to pay him. I didn't mind paying Johnny. I just didn't want to pay him 50% of my profits.
Is that what it was? 50%?
It was like 40 to 50%.
This little gnat, I'm going to kill it.
Kill it.
If I can catch it.
So that's where it's kind of like, you know, it was just hindsight. It is what it is. So I don't even want to go there. It is what it is.
All right.
But I did want to show you this. Do you remember this? Okay. And April,
I wish I still had mine.
Okay.
I kept it for years. Yes, I did.
This
that's
is
the
an
Gladiator tour.
all-access American Gladiator tour. But check this out. Look at the bottom of that.
That's probably
What's
worth
it
some
say?
money right now.
Look at that. Since when did we
Your
put our
social
social security number on that?
Let me see your picture. Hey, that is so funny.
April goes,
and
like,
I did have it on mine too.
What? It's like April goes, why did they need your social security number? I go, I don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody even thought about
That's
it back
probably worth
then.
some money.
You know?
You got to take the Social Security off of there. But that's probably worth some money.
I know. What else? I could literally sit here and talk to you for 2 and 3 hours, man.
that all the rest of the gladiators that didn't do ours would do yours, like Jazz. What happened to
Jazz didn't want anything to do with it at all. Okay. I talked to her the first time. She told me flat out, now this is interesting. She told me, she goes, anything Johnny has to do with, I will not touch. He owes me like a month worth of Orlando Live. Never paid her.
Now, was Johnny the person that was supposed to pay us?
Johnny,
Orlando?
well, they were
Peter
together.
Blaustein.
They were partners,
Okay.
Peter and Johnny. You know, so Jazz was just
if I won the lottery, I would go and give Peter Blaustein some money. He was
Peter.
a very nice guy.
I know, he was so sweet.
He was a very nice guy.
I liked him. But yeah, Jazz didn't want anything to do with the whole thing. Nothing at all.
I saw Selena.
Yeah.
I saw her, Electra.
She's
Electra, she was beautiful.
awesome.
She
I
was a
know.
beautiful spirit, wasn't she?
Yep.
And was good at every event.
Everything.
Every
Well, she
event.
was like crazy.
Yeah.
I interviewed yesterday Kathy Sasson, by the way, and she talked about Billy and she talked about Siren, which was great because she had their stories.
Where's Siren's ex-dude at?
John, don't know.
Johnny Romano, right?
Yep, John Morano. Was it Johnny
John
or
Romano.
John? John Romano. Get it.
I'm a boy. John Romano.
I don't know where he's at.
Now, rumor has it he wasn't the nicest person to
Nope.
her, right?
No.
So maybe that's why I haven't seen him. She
Probably.
was a light.
I know,
She was.
she
was a beautiful lady.
Wait until you
Lee
listen,
Rimmer
yeah.
was a beautiful guy.
I know.
He's
And
gone.
see, this is what we were upset about. All gladiators were upset about this. Neither documentary talked about the fallen gladiators at all, and they should have. They at least should have just said something at the end. You know how they say, in memory of. Neither one of them did that. And it was just so disrespectful. I would be upset in my grave if I knew they didn't like at least say something.
Lee was pretty good, wasn't he?
Yes, Hawk was awesome.
Yes,
he used
he
to
was.
undercut the shit out of us on personal appearances. Remember, we'd get
Yeah.
so mad at him. We'd be like, "Dude, you're doing the personal appearance for $500. We charge $3,000." He's like, "Well, I'll just get more."
Yeah. I get 6 of them, and that's the 3,000 right there.
Exactly.
You should be able to do it for free.
Yeah.
Man, get out of here before I beat you up, Lee.
Right?
Get out of here. Oh, Red, calm down. He was a very funny dude.
So I know that we're on a time here, but
Already?
I know. See how fast that went? Give me 5 minutes of after Gladiators and how you found religion. I know
Right,
that's
I didn't
a good
find religion,
hour.
it was spirituality. And I was a guy who had a lot of guilt. you do things in your life where you know it ain't cool. And I would be on these airplanes because I traveled a lot. I'll show you my American Airlines Platinum. I'm Platinum for life. That's how many miles I did, millions of miles. And every time the plane would bump, I'd be scared because I didn't want to die dirty. You know what I mean? And so I was searching for truth because I had kids, and I love my kids. You remember, I used to bring my kids with me all the time. I am one, people say Kobe was a girl dad. Nah, I was a girl dad before that. My boys and my girls, I was a real dad. I took it serious since my dad didn't. I took it serious. And I wanted to find some type of truth to hand my children so that before I die, I can say, this is how far I've gotten, and you take it from there. And then I got some truths. Then I started praying in a certain position, and I started getting these prayer messages. I mean, real prayer messages. You'll think I'm crazy if I told you them. We'll do it head up, but not on TV. But I've been outside of the universe where it was nothing, and I had to come into the stars and come into the solar system and come into the atmosphere, down through the buildings, and shown something on the ground that was super small. I'm trying to look for a speck on the ground, and the voice said, the truth is microscopic. Whoa. So I started getting these prayer messages, and it let me know that I was in the realm of truth. One more thing. I found the name Yahweh, all right? That's the name given to Moses in Exodus chapter 3, verse 15. He said, this is my name forever, my memorial to all generations. So there was this Christian preacher that used to be my daughter's basketball coach in elementary school. And he was one of them prophesying preachers, talk like this. God got a lot of work for you to do, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, man, if God know how I'm living, I don't know about that. You just talking, So, I mean, I carried a gun. I literally, even when I was with the Gladiators, with you guys, I had a pistol all the time. Just because you never know you're going to run across some people that I done slapped in the mouth growing up. And I found the name Yahweh, right? So I tell my daughter, I said, baby girl, I need Reverend Bauer's phone number. And she said, Daddy, I ain't talked to him in years. I don't have his phone number. I said, well, find the number. Because if you wanted to talk to one of his sons or his daughter, you'd find the number. So find the number. She said, okay. So the next day, he calls me. And I said, Reverend Bowers, I'm so glad that Lauren found your phone number. I needed to talk to you. And he said, Lauren didn't call me. He said, the Creator put you in my spirit for me to call you. No way. And I said, well, I just want to let you know that the Creator's name is Yahweh. And it's not Jesus, it's Yeshua. He said, praise him, so do I. Except for now, he said, except for your Yeshua is my Yahshua. I said, what? So I started learning and studying with him. He had went to school and got his PhD in theology. So he learned these truths. And I learned the same truths without going to theology school. And I started studying under him. And he's the one that gave me the title Shaliach. He's the one that gave me the title Rabbiya. But the more I studied, the more the spirit just started growing up inside of me. The more I grew, there's a scripture that says, he leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And it's just talk, but that's what it is. If we could do it ourselves, then the Messiah wouldn't have had to give his life for us. And so that spirit, he says, you will find me when you search for me with all your heart and all your soul. So I guess I fulfilled those requirements, and he revealed himself to me. And I can't not say it. I can't unsee it. I can't unhear it. And so that's what it is. I'm not a nerd. I'm still me. I can still fight. I can still have opinions, except for now I don't curse anymore. Now I try to find a righteous way out of it, as opposed to F you back. Now if somebody say F you, it'd be like, F you, hallelujah, man. So what you saying? I'm saying, whatever, there are some scriptures that I can defend myself. Psalm 144:1 said he prepares my hands for war. So you talk that talk if you want to, man, but I got a right to defend myself. And I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah, you are.
I'm pretty good at it. I'm pretty good at it.
Man, that hour just went by so fast. There's so many. We've never really sat and talked like this, though.
No, we didn't.
It was just like,
Well, maybe not, huh? Because we had fun.
Oh, we had a blast.
We had fun. I mean, one of my funnest trips was Minnesota, because it was just me and you in Minnesota. You know what I mean? And I remember being in the room with you laying on the bed and I'm laying on the bed and we just talking about whatever.
Yeah.
You feel me? Nothing dirty, nothing grimy.
Yeah, nothing.
Your lady didn't care, my lady didn't care. You know what I mean? It was pure.
Those are the moments that I remember as well.
It was pure.
Yeah.
It was pure.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
It took a while when I said, will you do my podcast? No, hallelujah.
Hey, it didn't go like that, America. Look, all right. So now, when you did that, we had did the documentaries,
right?
And they told me to be careful because some of the stuff used in the podcast could be
I know
tweaked, and I didn't want to get in trouble. Plus, I didn't want to do anything for Nitro without getting paid for it.
Right, exactly. Well, this has nothing to do with Nitro.
Hallelujah. I thought that I was going to come in here and he was going to be sitting here, and you said, "I'm going to interview you guys together."
Oh my God, that'd be a show. No, he has not done my podcast.
All right.
Don't know why.
Oh, and that was another thing. I watched your documentary, and then they said the show just went down after that. Then you showed me losing in the Conquer.
Oh, I didn't.
I won 50 shows. Oh man!
Don't give me that one.
I know. You was a producer on the show.
No, I was not. I was a co-producer.
You was a producer.
And you know what that means? Nothing.
Oh, that's funny.
Let me tell you something I was mad about on that documentary.
What?
All that footage of the tour was mine. And if I would have known when, hey, what do you got? Do you have photos? Do you have videos? What do you got? Give us what you want in the documentary. And I called the producer the next morning after I watched the entire documentary, and I was pissed. I said, if I'd have known that you were going to use all of episode 4 of my footage, I said, I would have lawyered up and said, you can only use 2 to 3 minutes of my footage or you're paying me. Because I know how much you guys paid for all that footage from MGM, hundreds and thousands of dollars. And you're going to pay me nothing for my footage. And you know what? The director came back to me, and I love Tony, the director. He was so sweet. He goes, Lori, I'm going to be very honest with you. He goes, your footage saved our ass in episode 4 because MGM pulled some footage, like 30 minutes of footage.
So now, this is your brother talking to you, your older brother talking to you. So you ain't learned nothing. You're still doing favors and stuff on the arm.
I know.
I
didn't know.
But you, as a producer, you get a point or something, right?
No, nothing. They don't give anything on the back end of documentaries.
What about for the executive producers?
Nothing on the back end. It's all up front on documentaries. All up front.
That's too bad.
I know. So I was a little upset about that.
You were trying to be nice and fair.
I didn't know.
And they took advantage again.
Again, they took advantage.
Meaning,
and I did say that to him.
Meaning the machine.
And I did say that to him. I did say that in the text. I said, this is exactly this. I go, I should be happy at this moment that the documentary's out, but you know what? I got a sour taste in my mouth just like before.
Would you do a reality show?
Yeah, of course I would.
You would?
Oh, hell yeah. Why not?
Okay, maybe I'll call some people.
Let's do it.
See what they could do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm done. Hey, boy, no telling what'll come out the woodwork. Oh, I don't want no parts of it. I'll be a guest on yours, all right?
Oh, my God.
I'll be a guest on yours.
All right, everyone. We have Sabre in the house, and I got to say goodbye. Thank you so very much.
I appreciate
Absolutely
it.
loved every second of it.
I did, too.
And please don't stay away too long. I have to get you in my podcast studio to have a conversation.
Okay.
Can we do dinner?
Yeah. Well, I got to say that for the last couple of years, the pandemic kept us apart.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Kept everybody apart.
Yeah. So that's what happened. And my daughter, my youngest granddaughter was born premature. She was 161 days in the NICU. So my daughter said, if I go around people, then I can't come around them.
Of course, that was the whole thing.
But yeah, me and you, we should be back on again. My wife wanted me to tell you that. Rhonda said, tell her that we got a double date again.
Let's do it.
So what do you want to do? Because we too old to do dinner and a movie, so it's got to be dinner or a movie. You know what I mean?
We'll
me and
talk
Rhonda
about
tried to go to a movie at 10 o'clock. Man, we didn't understand nothing that was going on.
I know. All right, America, we got to say goodbye.
All right, goodbye, world.
Goodbye, world.
So you just keep limiting yourself to America. Goodbye, world.
Thank you so much for listening to Chillin' with Ice.
You know, you could have also went to England and did something there. I'm sure you could have.
We'll talk more.
Yeah.
Say goodbye.
I keep wanting to talk, huh?
I know. Say goodbye.
I told you an hour wasn't enough. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I love you.
Until next time, thanks for listening and watching the Chillin' with Ice. See you later. Thank you so much for listening to Chillin' with Ice. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share wherever you listen to your podcast. Remember to follow us on Patreon and YouTube at Chillin' with Ice. And on Instagram and TikTok, you can follow me at lori.ice.fetrick. I look forward to chilling with you next time here on Chillin' with Ice.